All right, so earlier today, I brought you guys an article and a video talking about the Honor Magic V5. This thing looks unbelievably thin. I literally had as the thumbnail for the video, how is this even possible? And it might not be. There might be some strange stuff going on here. First thing I need to do is jump over to some of the comments on the video because several of you pointed this out. You'll see some names here on the screen talking about how that USB-C port just looks a little bit strange, right? And it does look a little bit strange. And I did notice it when I was actually making the video, but I just kind of chalked it up to like an optical illusion. The device is so thin and it's so narrow that I didn't take the time that I should have taken and zoom in on it and overlay another USB-C port and actually investigate if this does make any sense. So in this video, that is precisely what we're going to do. So here is the Honor Magic V5 as seen in that image. And what I also have is a photo I took of my Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6, just simply because it has a USB-C port. Nothing else really matters. And I've tried to sort of overlay them on top of each other. And you can see here, as I scale back and forth between them, there are some obvious problems. The Honor Magic V5's USB-C port is more narrow, but it's also much, much wider. It is as if this device, the image, has been stretched out in a very strange way. Look at this centerpiece here. Look how much wider it is. And I know that, I'm not going to get this exactly perfect, but if I made it so that this was the same width as this, that port is going to be way, way, way taller than it is, and it's already taller than that, and it's not the correct width. So if I match the width, the height's going to be a million miles off. So no matter how I do this, there's no way for these two things to line up. A USB-C port is not that shape. Honor, I believe, maybe, just maybe, you've done a little fibbing here. The amount of stretching and squishing of this phone I've had to do to make these USB-C ports match up was fairly extensive, but after doing so, you still wind up with a device that looks pretty darn thin. It's just not quite the same device that they were showing. It just happens to be now a device that has a USB-C port that is a realistic size, a standard size. Let's be honest, they're not going to be putting a charging port, a data port on this phone that doesn't otherwise exist, some proprietary charging port or something. So clearly something's happened here. They have done something that they probably ought not have done. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but this image, something is strange about it, and I would imagine that the other images maybe also shouldn't be taken at face value either. Once again, big shout out to everyone who dropped a comment. I apologize for not following my intuition and not doing what I normally do and digging deeper and having to make this follow-up video. But here is the follow-up video, and I think that the fairly obvious and fair conclusion to make is that these images are, at least in some ways, just not accurate, and that is a bummer. I hope that does not become a trend where companies do things like this more and more in the future. But guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.